We appreciate you watching and listening to The Dead Jeff Show. Please like and subscribe and tune in for more videos. All right, welcome in. It's a great day to be alive on The Dead Jeff Show. I'm Jeff. That's Nick. And we welcome you into episode 8. We've made it to episode 8. And let me tell you, there's joy in Cowboy Nation right now. There's not so much joy in Mavs Nation. The Spurs are smiling and sitting pretty right now. So it's a mixed bag for us. But, Nick, we are getting pretty close to Thanksgiving. So I know that a lot of people kind of skip over Thanksgiving and go right to Christmas. So tell me, what are your thoughts? Are you a Thanksgiving guy, a Christmas guy? Which one are you?
Guilty. Skip it. Just get straight
You
to the good
skip?
stuff.
So you're not very thankful or grateful. You just want to get right to the presents.
No, here's what I'll here's what I'll say. I love Thanksgiving because I love to eat and I love to cook. But
Okay.
the Christmas tree and all the decorations go up November 1st. Everything
All
goes
right.
up November 1. I want to maximize the time of Christmas cheer.
Okay, so November 1st, Christmas starts. It used to be Thanksgiving Day for us,
Yeah.
but then it morphed into November 1st. I think my youngest daughter and my wife are big Christmas people, but the fall is also my wife's favorite season. So the fall decorations in the house don't stay on too long, and then we move right to Christmas. So I think maybe Thanksgiving gets the short end of the stick. What do you say?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on who you ask, right? Because for me, Thanksgiving, there's a lot of positives there. Like I said, love to cook, love to eat, great golf weather, phenomenal golf weather, right? Like we're on the links, great time to play golf. So I don't want to just, you know, throw Thanksgiving to the side. Like this is a great time.
Yeah.
Just love seeing the Christmas stuff up.
I'll be honest with you. If I think back on my family and um, for those of you who didn't listen to episode 1, my father is no longer with us. My mother's no longer with us. My sister no longer with us. And my stepfather no longer with us. So they're all gone. But if I think about the memories. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. No, I'm just kidding. If I think about the memories that I have, I think they're more tied to Thanksgiving family get-togethers where we would play football in the backyard, family football game. We have more Thanksgiving traditions than we did Christmas traditions. So growing up, it was definitely Thanksgiving was a bigger player for us. But with my family, with my kids, it seems like Christmas is the biggest deal. And we have a daughter, our oldest, who is her birthday's around Thanksgiving, so that we kind of get merged together. And then we have a daughter whose birthday's closer to Christmas, first part of January, and so, but I think now it's kind of morphed into we're a Christmas family, and I think my wife and daughter start singing Mariah Carey on before Halloween. So I don't know, is that a good thing or bad thing that Christmas is taking over November?
Nah, it's a great thing. But I also, for me, the there's always that thing you look forward to in Thanksgiving that is hard. Like for me, I love fried turkey. I
Mm.
didn't have fried turkey until God, I was way too old to be trying fried turkey for the first time. But once I did, man, it's almost no going back. So that's something I always look forward to. There's always those couple of dishes, right? Fried turkey, and then the Ross Geller, the moist maker, the Thanksgiving sandwich. Love the leftover sandwich with the moist maker, man. That's where it's at. So it's just so hard because it's such a for me, genuinely, it's just such a great time because you get all the best things in a very short span.
Yeah, I think I don't like turkey. I don't know if that's a hot sports opinion, but I'm not a turkey guy on Thanksgiving. I mean, we've tried some different things on Thanksgiving where we one year we did Italian. It seemed a little weird. We've tried going out on Thanksgiving to eat, and that was kind of weird. My wife's not a great cook. I hope she doesn't listen to the show, but she's just not a great cook. There's a few things that she does well. My family's a lot of picky eaters, so there was one thing like when my daughter Chloe was growing up. I think all she would eat was rolls and desserts. She skipped everything else, right? So traditional Thanksgiving food. I think we're more ham than turkey over here in our family. But I think Thanksgiving's getting the short end of the stick now. Even though I love Christmas, look, I'm a Christmas guy too. We had our trees up on November 1st this year. We had lights on the house that same weekend. So I think we're guilty as everybody else who has kind of edging Thanksgiving out. So, um, do you have any Thanksgiving traditions that you like that you love?
Well, I mean, Cowboys game is always, get everyone around the TV, and
Right?
um, my wife's family's big Giants fans. They're from New York, so um, at least for a while, even though the Cowboys haven't really done much lately, the Giants have kind of been worse. So it's nice to get them around the TV and be able to tell them how terrible their team is. So that's nice. Other than that, I mean, not really. I think it's always just probably most families. It's which house are we at? What do you bring? It's
Yeah.
the traveling through all the different families, and typically what we'll do is we'll do the wife's family on Thursday. We'll do my family on either Friday or Saturday. So it's a lot of food in a short time. It's food comas and all that kind of. That's the tradition. Food coma. You eat,
Yeah.
you sleep, go somewhere else.
Yeah, we have kind of recently gone to a movie on Thanksgiving after the Cowboy game. We'll head out to the movies, so we'll eat a lunch usually, but this year I think we're doing a dinner. So I don't know if we're gonna continue the movie thing or not, but Cowboys are a tradition. This year though it's the Chiefs, so it's Cowboys and Indians on
That's
Thanksgiving.
right.
So
That's right.
I don't know if there's something to that or not, but speaking of Thanksgiving, speaking of turkeys, the Raiders kind of played like turkeys last night.
Yeah, I was kind of worried about this. I had said to someone earlier in the day, my biggest fear was that they were going to go in there, the Cowboys were going to look great, and then we were going to get the hope back. You got Overshown, you got Quentin Williams, Carson's playing for the first. You just had all these things going on where, look, I'm glad they won. They looked great. I just kind of I can understand. I'm not Nobody come for me, please. I am not saying that I hate Cowboys fans, but
Sounds like it.
I can understand the conversation of one great thing happens or they have a really good game against a bad team, and now all of a sudden, they're going to the Super Bowl again when they're probably not even gonna make the playoffs.
Well, we can get into that in a little bit. I want to start with the tribute to Marshawn Kneeland, and we didn't touch on this on the last podcast, but man, what a beautiful tribute all around the NFL, but mainly the Cowboys, wearing the T-shirts, hanging his jersey up. I think it was really a touching tribute. You could see how emotional Coach Schottenheimer was before and after the game in the locker room. So I mean, just a really tragic thing that's happened, um, you know, in the Cowboys family. And prayers to his family and girlfriend and everything else that's who he's left behind, everyone else he's left behind. But what a really sad thing, but what a really classy and touching tribute they did to Marshawn Kneeland.
Yeah, and I know they talked about it all week long, and there was a lot of conversation around just really wanting to play relentlessly for him. That was the word I kinda kept hearing was they wanted to be relentless, kinda honor his spirit on the field, just who he was as a player, and as a person. I agree with you completely. Those shirts were awesome. The tributes were awesome. I think the best thing that they could have done was just go out and play hard. Win or lose, they really it felt like a high energy. Guys were rallying to the ball all night long. Just kind of felt like there was a little boost behind them. Um, very very classy. Uh, Really sad, very tragic, but a really really sweet way for them to go out and play in honor of Marshawn.
Yeah, it was, and so they take the field, they get the victory 33-16 over the Raiders. Listen, everyone going in to the game was talking about this is kind of an extra bye week for the Cowboys. The Raiders are terrible, and they are terrible. The defense is, you know, respectable, somewhere middle of the pack, but the offense was just their offense is terrible. I sound like Charles Barkley when I say terrible. It's
Terrible.
but it's true, right? And so the interesting thing is we start the game with Pickens and Lamb on the sidelines. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it was interesting because all they said on the broadcast was it's just coach's decision. They didn't really expand on it. And then, right before halftime or during halftime, it came out that there was some basically a punishment for what they said was missed team activities. So, maybe late to meetings, maybe missed something, but
Curfew maybe.
curfew, yeah, who knows?
I mean, it was Vegas. I mean, there are a lot of things that are tempting to do in Vegas. If there's a city that you're gonna miss curfew in, I'm not saying they did. This
yeah.
allegedly, but Vegas would be the city you do it in. It's not going to be Cleveland or Philadelphia maybe, but that was interesting to see. And of course, if they're playing the Eagles, do you think he does that?
You know what? Honestly, Schottenheimer, yeah, I think so. To be
Yeah.
totally honest with you, I think just that's his. And we've talked about it many. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but man, he just seems like an awesome coach. Seems like an awesome guy to play for. And I think this is an old. I've heard Popovich say it a bunch of times. I know it's more of an old school coach kind of mentality. If I can coach my best players that way, nobody else can say anything. Everybody else has to just take it. Everybody else has to fall in line. And look, they clearly didn't let it affect them on the field. They combined for 14 catches and over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. So, you know,
Yeah.
did the crime, do the time, and then go out and just ball absolutely out. So,
Yeah, and they looked great. So here's something I want to ask you. So obviously they played great. The offense played great. Dak, 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers. Defense got a safety, got pressure all night with a new
uh-huh.
look defense. But let's talk about Pickens and Lamb. Which one's better right now, Nick? Pickens or Lamb? If you had
Oh,
to take one, who are you taking?
God, that's so tough. I I really God, I'm gonna get so much hate for this probably. I really think it's Pickens. And I think the difference I think CeeDee's a better route runner, just from a pure technique standpoint. But Pickens is just such a physically dominant type player, man. Some of those run after catches that he just runs angry sometimes, and
Yeah.
it's so awesome. So if you made me choose right now today, which one would you rather have for a game for this season? It would be Pickens. I think because he's shown that he can be hot and cold throughout games, he can kind of take plays off. We've seen that some here. I think Lamb is more consistent. So I guess it depends on, I'm going to dilute the answer a little bit, but I'm just Pickens. I will take Pickens.
Okay, let's do a tail of the tape here. If you say whose hands are you taking, Pickens or Lamb, who are you taking
Pickens.
with hands? Yeah,
Pickens.
I think Pickens does have better hands. Lamb mixes in a couple drops on easy catches,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. We come to route running, we both say Lamb probably.
Yep. Yep.
Um, when we talk about run after catch,
I don't want to dismiss Lamb because I do think he's good there. I just think
mhm,
I think Lamb is better. He's a little bit more shifty, whereas Pickens can be shifty, but he can also just outright break tackles. So that's
yeah,
why I give Pickens the edge there.
I think Lamb has quickness, quick
Yeah.
twitch over Pickens, but Pickens may have straight line speed over Lamb.
hmm Yeah. I mean,
So
fair.
neither one of those suckers like to block though. So I'm telling you,
No,
they're like, don't have us blocking. So
ever.
you're taking Pickens. You know, I'm a CD guy. I think CD has been better longer, more consistent, like you say. So if I had to pick one, I'm going to say CD Lamb, just for the simple fact that he's done it longer and he doesn't, he's got some immaturity to him, but he doesn't have the rap that Pickens has.
Yeah.
And I think the interesting thing about it is Pickens has been great since he's been here, right? This punishment that him and Lamb have had is the first time he's really sort of There was some talk about him taking plays off when he's not getting the ball early on, but I haven't seen that lately.
Right.
So I think the thing about Pickens is, can he do it in a non-contract year?
Mhm.
Is that the motivation? Or has he seen the light? You know? So I think I'd take Lamb. You take Pickens. Tell us who you would take out there, guys, in the comments, or leave us a message. Well, you can't leave us a message, a voicemail, but you can leave us a comment. I'm here thinking like I'm in the '90s here.
Yeah.
Hey, call in. Tell us what you think. No, but I'm just kidding. So I think obviously the offense played great. So what do you think about the new look Cowboys defense?
Yeah, so I've obviously been a very, very outspoken critic. I'm on record, didn't really love the Quinnen Williams trade. It's one game, not gonna knee jerk. They were giving up a little over 30 points, 30.8 a game. Obviously, nowhere near that last night. There's a couple of stats that really stood out to me last night, um, that I'm not quite sure if this is a product of the Raiders being really bad, or this is the potential of what we have now with the Cowboys' new defense. And I also want to highlight a couple of things in here, but here's the one that jumps out at me immediately: 60 defensive snaps last night. This is per PFF. 60 defensive snaps last night. Was credited with 34 pressures on those 60 snaps.
Mm,
That's insane.
yeah.
That is an absolutely insane number. Um, I don't know if that's kind of fool's gold, or again, their opponent, or if this is just a product of Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, Osa, and then Ezaraku continuing to come on. It's
Yeah.
very, very exciting potentially.
Yeah, let's qualify this. The Raiders' offensive line is one of the worst in the NFL.
Right.
We have to say that. That doesn't take away from the effort that the defensive line made last night. We talked, at the preview show, could our defense hold their offense to less than 30, and could we score 30? And that's exactly what happened, right?
Mhm.
Because their offensive line was awful, and for some unknown reason, Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll decided not to use Ashton Genty very much early on in the game, and they
Yeah.
abandoned the run so early. So I think yes, we saw more than a handful of times. I think that Kenny Clark, Quinnen Williams, and Osa Odigizua were in the game at the same time, and
Yep.
it worked beautifully. Coming into this game, Quinnen Williams had 1 sack for the season. He got 1.5 last night.
Mhm.
And we would always say that about Micah. Micah would feast on the really bad opponents, and then in the good games, Micah, he wouldn't have as good of game. So I think it's tempered, like you said. The receivers for the Raiders aren't great, so our
No.
DBs looked better. Bland
Mhm.
looked like he's in a better situation. He's coming along. Kalen Carson looked great. And what we saw of Revel, was impressive. But I think we have to temper it. We know the Raiders stink. We knew that going in, but we thought the Panthers stunk too, right? And they're turned out to be halfway decent. So I would say it's more the opponent, but we can be excited about what we saw on that defensive line, and we can be excited about Overshown coming back, Logan Wilson getting some reps, and all that, because they can only get better, and we're going to see real quickly. They got to play the Eagles this week,
Mhm.
and that Eagles defense is no joke now.
Right.
So can they slow us down? And we'll get into that a little bit later. But I want to just say I don't think I can come out you know like these overreacting Cowboy fans. Oh, we're going to the Super Bowl, like you said earlier. It's 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 too much of an overreaction. I think we played one of the crappiest offensive lines in all of football. I think we could probably get through that line, if you give us a few warm up reps. But so it's tempered. It's hey, we got something to be excited about, but let's temper it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the on you mentioned Osa, Quinnen, and Kenny Clark. So 22 Cowboys played defensive snaps last night. Those three guys were Osa number one at PFF grades. Osa was number one, Quinnen was number two, and Kenny Clark was number six. So three of the top six spots of 22 players that logged defensive snaps were on that defensive line. And look, this is NFL history will show that if you can get pressure with four guys and you don't have to blitz, you are going to be infinitely better off for it. You mentioned Kalen Carson. Uh, the only defensive player that played all 60 snaps was Kalen Carson. So obviously
That's
no pitch count there for
encouraging.
him.
Yeah.
Very encouraging. And he looked pretty good. I think there was a couple of spots where he should have been punished for being out of position. He made obviously some errors. They mentioned it on the broadcast a couple of times. And Geno Smith and company just didn't make him pay for it. Like you said earlier, receivers just aren't very good.
That
But
tight end is though. That tight end.
Brock Bowers is
Oh
he's for
man.
real.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
he's
guy
for
was
real.
impressive for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
so I think the only other thing I would say on the defensive side of the ball for me is the linebacker usage is a little bit troubling for me. And I say that with no disrespect to Kenneth Murray, but man, he has really, really struggled. And he played basically him, Overshown, and Logan Wilson played essentially, the same number of snaps 27, 31, and 34. So,
well, I think one thing I would differ with you on that is him playing fewer snaps is good, but the I think is the fewer snaps he plays, the better he can play because he's in spurts. You know what I mean? I think I don't like him on the field either. Uh,
mhm,
but I to me, I think that will change as Overshown keeps coming back and Wilson gets acclimated. I don't know that he's going to play as much, and I don't know what Shamar James's snap count was last night, but um,
26, the same as Kenneth Murray.
so it sounds like they had a rotation, right?
The
It's
rotation.
and maybe that's what's good, but I still want to fire Matt Eberflus. I just
Yeah.
want to say that, and this is my concern: is they come in, they get a little bit of success, and then he keeps his job. And I think it's one thing we said early on was they haven't adapted the scheme at all to the personnel, and the talent level was low for Matt Eberflus. Well, they fixed some of the talent level, but will he continue to adapt? It looks like he is. He's adjusting, and that could be a
Mhm.
bad thing for all of us that want to fire Matt Eberflus.
Right.
So, but here's one concern I had um, about last night's broadcast. Jerry Jones, when they showed him on the screen, Jerry didn't look great. I'm not trying to be morbid, but you hear Jerry talk, he's still with it. He's still sharp,
Mhm.
but man, he's just I know I guess if I was 83, I probably would look that way too, but I was a little concerned when they showed Jerry a few times.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't I guess my thing is what are we qualifying this against? Because he's 83 years old, so, I mean, I think, my take would be that he looks pretty good for 83, I think. I don't know what I'm qualifying that against, but,
How
certainly to hear him.
are you comparing him to Joe Biden? Then yeah, you're right. He looks much better. But I don't know. I mean, I just saw where Mel Brooks didn't he turn 100
God, is that
this
right?
this week, and then he looked pretty good. But I would say this: I was caught off guard, and maybe it was just the faces he was making or the times they showed him. I just thought it was a little troubling, and and I know Jerry's again got all his mental faculties. He's great, but I was just that thought came across my mind, and I thought I'd share it. I got to be honest. I was just a little troubled.
Mel Brooks, just for the record, 99, June
Okay,
28th of 26, he will be 100. So
okay.
not quite there yet, but
You probably
does look
jinxed him. He's
better.
probably not going to make it to 100 now.
Well, if
It's like
that,
Betty White. Remember when
yeah,
Betty White was they were
right.
celebrating
The
her?
100, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Um, it is, it is. I think, I will
Now,
say
well,
the picture.
wait.
No, no, no.
Welcome to the Dead Jeff show, where we're talking about people not making it to 100. That's crazy.
Yeah, a little bit on the nose there. to your point, he does look a little better at 99 than Jerry does at 83.
You
So
know, and up to a few years ago, Jerry was looking good, right? I don't know if it just all caught up to him in the last
hey
year or
man,
two. Maybe it's the stress of the Cowboys.
I was gonna say at least he cares enough to be stressed out to not look great at 83. I guess that there's a good thing for you.
Well, here's one more thing that I want to say about the Cowboys, and then we can maybe talk about Cowboys Eagles preview. Um, guys, let's let's be realistic. This team is not making the playoffs. It's great for us to be excited. It's good to have us win if you're looking for something to build on. Although if you're a draft guy like me, you're like, hey, let's not win too many so we can get a better draft pick. But at the same time, we want to be relevant, right? Um, and so I seen all these people getting excited about the new league defense. There are 9 teams ahead of us in the NFL NFC conference playoff chase. 9 teams. And right now, NFL Network gives us 7% chance of making the playoffs. So let's settle down a little bit, Cowboy Nation. Let's not overreact. And this is why people don't like Cowboy fans. It's delusional Cowboy fan. It's this or that, right? We overhype everything that's good and we undersell everything that's bad. And I think that we got to temper our excitement. We got to be realistic because this team is not making the playoffs.
What a Debbie Downer! Are you serious?
I got
What
to
is
be real,
happening?
Nick.
Where did we took a left turn somewhere hard, and I don't like where we ended up. So
Well,
you're currently in 10th place. Right now today, Carolina's in front of you at 9th, Detroit's in front of them at 8, and then San Francisco at 7. So
yep.
you want me to trust Brock Purdy?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if Bryce Young, I don't know how bad that injury is going to be and how long he's going to be out, although, him and Tedero McMillan have looked great. But if it's Andy Dalton, don't got a
You
lot
can
of faith
pass the
there. No,
Panthers, but the Panthers aren't in the playoffs. You
right.
can
Well, I'm
pass
just
the
saying,
Panthers, but they're not getting past the Lions, 49ers, Packers, Seahawks. They're not jumping those guys.
I don't need him to jump all of them. I just need him to jump one. So I'm going to
Yeah,
say,
you
I'm
need
going to say,
two more. If you jump the
yeah,
Panthers, you got to jump 2 more.
right. So I'm gonna say, just for the sake of this argument, Carolina's just not even in this conversation. We're just gonna throw
I agree.
Carolina away.
We can catch them. We can catch them.
So now you got Detroit, San Francisco, Green Bay, Seattle. I got to get through 2 of them to get into the 7th seed.
And Tampa, if you want to throw them in there, Tampa's 6-4, but leading their division.
Right,
And
and then
the Panthers are 6-4 or 6-5.
uh
So we think the Buccaneers will be the winners of that division and in the
agreed,
playoffs. Okay.
agreed. But I just don't trust. If I don't know why, I don't trust San Francisco, and I don't know that
Brock Purdy just came
Jared
back.
Goff has been
They
consistent
just
enough.
scored 40 points.
I, I like I like Mac better.
Okay.
Give me the Cowboys in the 7th seed over the field. I like the Cowboys to make the playoffs in the 7th seed.
So you think the Cowboys are going to jump past the Lions and 49ers if those are the 2 teams that are ahead of the Panthers right now.
Uh-huh.
You think they're going to surpass them and end up as the 7th seed?
Yep.
Now, as it stands right now, who knows? The Packers could drop, the Seahawks could drop, but the 3 wild cards are Seahawks, Packers, 49ers right now.
Right.
And you think the Cowboys will beat one of those 3 teams out for the wild card?
Yeah.
I don't listen. Let's talk about that, Nick. I'm concerned about your mental state. So let's think about this. You have knowing you have the Eagles, the Chiefs, and Lions coming up for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Now, you can lose to the Chiefs. They're not in your conference, right? That's fine if you think
Mhm.
they're going to lose to the Chiefs. You have to beat the Eagles and the Lions.
Right.
Or you can say, oh, you have to beat the Lions for sure to jump them in the standings, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
you can't have the head-to-head loss. Right.
right, but they're playing the Chiefs. I mean, they're playing the Eagles this week, right? And that's here in Dallas, right?
Uh-huh.
Then they play the Chiefs in Dallas on Thursday,
Uh-huh.
and they go to Detroit, right? Help me out,
That's
schedule
no, it's home.
maestro.
It's home. It's here.
Well, all three of these games are not at home,
The
are they?
Cowboys is versus.
The Eagles game is at home because we already played in Philly. The Eagles are here this week,
Yeah.
so the Chiefs are here on Thanksgiving. Detroit has to be at Detroit. Yeah, it's in Detroit. So you're saying to me that the Cowboys will beat the Lions in Detroit in 3 weeks, and that's the
Yeah.
third game in 12 days.
Yeah.
Didn't you pick Detroit as your best team in the NFC?
Yeah. Jared Goff is, man, that guy's just really coming down to earth.
Yeah, I know, but you, I mean, so
I mean, Gibbs is the concern in that game. I mean, Gibbs is liable to go for 250. I'm just hoping a slightly improved defense can just outscore the offense can outscore the Lions' offense.
who do the Lions play this week,
The
Maestro?
Giants
Okay, that's a win for the Lions. Who do they play on Thanksgiving? Don't they play on Thanksgiving, the Lions?
always on Thanksgiving also.
And it's usually a division foe.
Packers.
So they're going to beat the Giants. The Packers, is that in Detroit?
Yeah, so I was reading this wrong. So the Packers is actually home. They're home 3 in a row.
Who's home?
Home Giants,
Detroit?
home I'm sorry, yeah, Detroit's home against the Giants, home against the Packers, home against the Cowboys.
And you think they're going to lose to the Packers and the Cowboys?
Correct. And then they're at LA Rams after that.
Okay, so they've got a little bit of a tough stretch.
Yep. And then
And
they end
they also have 3 games in 12 days, right?
That's correct. And they end the season back-to-back road games against division opponents, Vikings, Bears.
So NFL Network has the Lions at a 74% chance to make the playoffs and the Cowboys at a 7% to make the playoffs. And you're saying you're taking the 7%.
Yeah, I'm actually looking to see right now what the odds are for the Cowboys to make the playoffs on the bet because I'm gonna get some good odds here.
Yeah, I, as much as I love Dallas and I love the Cowboys, it's too far fetched. Now, let's revisit this after this 3-game stretch
Right,
because they could go 3-0, and then we're like, uh-oh, here it comes, right? The Chiefs aren't playing as well. The Eagles' offense isn't playing as well, and the Lions are struggling. So I understand you could build a case that after these 3 games, we'll know for sure if they're able to get a 7th seed. But do you really want them to be in the playoffs this year if it's the 7th seed? Or would you rather have a higher draft pick and build for next year at this point?
I'm never a fan of losing, so I'll
Well,
say
me either,
playoffs.
but we got to be realistic. So if we go in as a 7th seed and we play the Bears, I guess that I mean,
No, I
you're
mean,
kind of talking to me into this. If I mean if they come out of this 3-game stretch and they're only a
mhm,
game back
right,
still of the playoffs. Right now they're a
mhm,
game and a half.
right.
They're a game
It's
because they
not,
have that
it's not
tie.
insurmountable. Right, it's not insurmountable
No, but it's not realistic either that all these
based
teams
on
are
who
gonna.
they play. Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So I think that we'll table this. We'll table this. You have them making the playoffs in the 7th seed. I
Yep,
have them missing the playoffs, ending somewhere in the 9th or 8th seed. Probably the 9th seed for me. I think they'll jump Carolina. I think the Lions are better than they showed against the Eagles. And matter of fact, they only lost by a touchdown and they played awful.
right.
That
I mean,
that
that's
Eagles defense was good for
yep,
sure, but again, it's like our offense is good, our defense is terrible. Well, the Eagles is the opposite. Their offense is serviceable and their defense is great. So
right.
let us know what you think, Cowboy fans. Will the Cowboys make the playoffs? Please, please give Nick grief because I think he's clinging to the little bit of hope that the Cowboys like to give us. I mean, it's not out of this world impossible, but it's highly unlikely. That's my take.
Yeah, we'll see. That they're not so far out. Obviously, the schedule is probably why they have a 7% chance because they're not going to be favored in a lot of these games.
Yeah.
But you mentioned it earlier, man. They got the Eagles coming up next week. The Eagles defense has looked phenomenal. Give a little preview spoiler on Nick's picks here. The over under is currently set for that game at 47.5, and
Mm.
um, it just seems like a really big number for the Eagles' last few games, man, have been just absolute dogfights. Um, not saying the Cowboys' defense is anything to say, oh my God, they're going to be way better than they were. But at the beginning of the season, what did they give up? 24 to the Eagles, 27, something like that.
24.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to pull. Yeah, 24-20. So at a time where both of these defenses, at least on paper, don't look nearly as good as they look now, they wouldn't have covered the 47.5. So that just seems like a really, really high number to me. Like you said earlier, the Eagles' defenses looked great. Offenses looked bad. Cowboys' defenses looked improved. So seems like a dogfight division, old school kind of smash mouth physical game coming up. Really looking forward to it, and I hope that's what we get. I hope we get one of those old school throwback, really close Cowboys, Eagles, Dak Hurts kind of games.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Here's the only thing I'll say about the Eagles. They're on the road. They're in Dallas, so Dallas hat offense usually plays better here.
Hmm.
I just their defense travels, right? And so their offense, Saquon scares me. He always comes alive against the Cowboys. I know they didn't do that in the game in Philly, but I think if the Cowboys do find a way to win this game, now look out, right? Now look out because now you got the Chiefs coming on Thanksgiving, and then like we said, going to the Lions, which would be a tough place for them to play. They
Yeah.
don't really play well there, but it is a stadium, it's a dome. I mean, it's indoors, so I I don't know. I if you ask me to pick Cowboys Eagles game, I trust their defense more than I trust our offense against them.
Hmm.
Um, so I think this is a close game, but I feel like the Eagles will prevail. Now, if we get Dak protected, if we can block them and keep Dak, you know, comfortable, or at least get him to where he's not panicking in the pocket, then we have a chance to win the game. Um, I think our defense will play better, but I'm really worried about the pressure they can put on Dak because Dak under pressure is against good teams. It's not been good. Um, so that's my concern about the Philly game is they hate the Cowboys.
Yeah.
We hate them, but right, they seem to be getting the best of us right now. And the only chance we have is we can slow down that pass rush and give Dak time because the Eagles secondary is not great,
Yep.
but their linebackers and their defensive line probably one of the best in the NFL. And then we'll have to see what we can hold them to on our defensive side.
Yeah, I think you mentioned this, and I'm curious your thought. If it's a close game, if it's a one possession game, who does that favor?
Well, the Eagles find a way to win, unfortunately, and I hate to say that because I hate the Eagles, and I would love to say Dallas in a close one, but the data doesn't lie on that to me, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer for Cowboy fans again, but I don't. I would say the only chance we have is that Dak has time in the pocket because we do have the advantage. They got Brown and Smith, but I'll take Pickens and Lamb over those two. So
Oh yeah.
we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to we have to protect Dak. That's it. That's the key to the game is protecting Dak. Are you with us, Nick?
Lost you momentarily. I'm back there.
Okay. I said the only way we have a chance is protecting Dak. That's the key to the game for me. If we can protect him, then I think we will win. If we can't, we will not win.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the odds here. Cowboys, give my prediction. Cowboys are 1-4 in the last 5 meetings against the Eagles. Dak at home against the division has, historically been pretty good. I think it is an upset. I would say right now today, looking at this, I like the Cowboys to win the game, and I one of my favorite guilty pleasures to do is anytime the Cowboys beat the Eagles, which we haven't been able to do it a lot recently, is to go listen to they used to do it on 105.3. I'm sure they still do it from time to time, but they go and spy on the Eagles broadcast, the hometown sports talk shows. I love doing that. So every morning after the Cowboys would beat the Eagles when it was happening regularly, I would I would listen to the Eagles. So I hope the Cowboys. I'm gonna say the Cowboys will win this game, and then I'll have the opportunity Monday morning to go listen to some great Eagles radio.
My heart wants the Cowboys to win. My head doesn't believe they'll get it done. I mean, this has been a roller coaster season, so it's one step forward, one step back, one step forward, so we end up where we started. So I'm going to say that they lose this game, and hopefully it'll be a close game, something like 30, 31, 23, 27, 20, something like that, similar to the first game, um, is what I think, that the Eagles will win. Now, let's talk about who we who is your favorite team in each division. I think last week, I had the um, the Seahawks, and
Mhm.
I stuck with the Chiefs,
Right.
but I was leaning towards the Patriots were coming up, so I was on the bubble
Mhm.
with them. You had Detroit and Buffalo?
Philly.
No,
Phi
you
Philly
Philly.
and
You
Buffalo.
switched to Philly. Yeah.
Yep.
Philly and Buffalo. And the Maestro had the Rams and the Chiefs. So, where are we, Nick, this week? Who do we think's the best team in the NFC and the AFC?
Man, it's getting harder and harder to ignore Drake May in New England. You said that last week, and it kinda not that I had forgotten, but almost a little bit forgot about just how great they've looked. Um And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I did not have Buffalo last week. I had, Indianapolis. I had
Oh, you
Indy and
took the
Philly
Colts.
last week. I took
Okay.
the Colts, yeah. Um, so I would say, nothing really this weekend would change that for me. Obviously, Philly, we've talked about Philly, a lot here, just about how they looked. The Colts were off, they didn't play. They got a great test coming up. Well, maybe a great chance. I don't know. I don't know what the Chiefs are, um, but they're playing Kansas City in Kansas City.
Mm,
If the Colts go into that game and they win it, even it doesn't matter if it's close or big, but if they win it even remotely impressively, I'm sure there's going to be a huge influx of Colts bandwagon, fans. But right
right.
now, I'll say nothing changed. I still like the Colts in the AFC with the nod to the Patriots and the Eagles in the NFC with the nod to the Rams.
Okay, so you're going Colts and Eagles, staying there.
Yep.
Um, for me in the AFC, the Patriots really haven't played anybody spectacularly. I mean, they played the Buccaneers, they beat the Bills, right? So those are quality wins. Um, I don't want to pick the Eagles, so I won't. Even though I think they're going to win this week. I think I'm going to. And the Seahawks, Darnold was disappointing in a big game again,
Mhm.
and it's that's the kind of thing that stays with somebody, seeing ghosts and all that kind of thing. So I'm worried about that. So I'm gonna piggyback on the Maestro and go with the Rams, just because I think that they beat the Seahawks, and therefore if I had the Seahawks as the best team, I would now go with the Rams. But Philly's defense is scaring me. I would put them as a close second to the Rams. And in the AFC, I'm going to have to go Patriots. I talked them up so big last week. And I cannot pick the Chiefs Although I think the Chiefs beat the Colts this week. So, and they're the favored, by the way.
Right.
And I think it's
Right.
crazy. I think everybody in the AFC is hoping the Colts go in there and beat the Chiefs so we can put an end to this Kansas City in the playoffs thing. It's like long live the new king because the old king is dead at that point. But Buffalo is up and down. Their defense is really shaky at best. I don't
Mhm.
believe in Denver yet. So I'm going to go with the Patriots and the Rams in the NFC. Um, and that's who I got. Maestro, who you going with?
I'm gonna go Rams. Still got the Rams.
Here, speak in the microphone.
I got the Rams still.
Okay.
AFC. I'm switching to the Broncos.
Oh no.
Oh,
They
I like that.
they lost to the Colts by 1. They beat the Chiefs. They beat the Eagles. That pass by Bo Nix to seal the game to get that field goal, I think that kind of sold me because that was just a great drive. Even though the offense is kind of like shaky at some points, the defense is great, and that offense gets you what you need when you need it. So
Okay. So he's got the Broncos and the Rams.
I
So
like.
there you have it.
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
our
That's a little surprising. I like that though.
yeah, yeah. Going with the Broncos. He believes in Bo Nix. All right, there you have it. That's our pseudo power rankings for the NFL. So, how did Nick's picks do last week? Let's find out in this week's installment of Nick's Picks. Maestro, hit the music. As you give the Manziel money sign. All right. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Nick.
it's another phenomenal week for Nick's picks. I hope you guys are following along, man, because we're just giving this stuff away right now. So 4-0 again. That moves us to that's 2 out of the last 3 weeks 4-0. Um, that is 11-1 in the last 12 picks, and we're 15-5 overall. So really, really solid week. There really wasn't really any super close ones. I'm trying to remember. There was one that I think, oh, Chicago. Chicago was the one that they run they give up that touchdown at the end of the game, and then on the ensuing kickoff, they need a field goal to win it, and the kick return puts them basically in field goal range. Now they got a little conservative for my liking. Ben Johnson surprised me a little bit. They ran it 3 straight plays. Figure they maybe just do a bootleg or something, try and get a few more yards, make it a little bit of an easier kick. I sweated that one out a little bit more than I would have liked, but ultimately they got the win. And so, yeah, man, another 4-0 week, 15-5 overall, and looking forward to this week's bets.
So, you going to tell us how much money you made?
No, because this is just for entertainment purposes only.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, yeah,
No
yeah.
wagering, please. Just entertainment purposes only.
This is
All right, who do you
entertainment
have this
purposes
week?
only.
Who do you have this
All
week,
right.
Nick?
Here we go. Your upset special. We're going to start there. Your upset special, which is criminal that this is the case, but the Indianapolis Colts are the underdog against the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't even really know what to say to this. You got a 5-5 team against one of the most balanced teams in football. So I like the Colts, and I like them, kind of easily here. I don't really think this is going to be close. But I'm also not sold on the Chiefs, so take it for what it is. But I like the Colts to upset the Chiefs. I like the Cowboys and Eagles to go under the total point spread. 47.5 is the total right now.
Oh.
Earlier in the year they played 24-20, so didn't even cover the spread at a time where I feel like both defenses were not as good as they currently are, and quite frankly, both offenses were probably a little better than they currently are. So give me the Cowboys and Eagles on the under. The Atlanta Hawks are currently
Wait,
the
NBA?
Did I say Hawks?
You said the Atlanta Hawks. I'm like, wait, are we giving an NBA pick here?
Atlanta Falcons.
Somebody drug test Nick. Somebody drug test him.
It's
Atlanta
not
Hawks.
necessary. It's not
Hawk,
necessary.
Falcon, they're close.
It's the same thing basically. Atlanta Falcons plus 110 money line at the New Orleans Saints. Give me the Falcons to beat the Saints straight up. And then lastly, the Jacksonville Jaguars are a minus 2.5 point favorite at Arizona. Jacksonville has looked great.
Mm.
Really haven't missed a beat since Travis Hunter went out. Trevor Lawrence has looked good. Etienne is, I see why they traded, the backup running back that they had there for so long. That looked kind of surprising for a second, but the offenses look great, defenses look great. To only be a 2.5 point favorite over Arizona seems a little weird to me. So, Jacksonville minus 2.5 at Arizona.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so Arizona, it's kind of you don't know what you're going to get with them. Jacksonville on the uptick a little bit, so I
Yep.
can see that. I can see that for sure.
Yeah. So let's give you the quick recap here. We got Indy on the
Wait, that was
road.
it? That was
That's it.
four?
That's four, man.
Okay.
Indy over Kansas City straight up. The Atlanta Falcons over the New Orleans Saints straight up. Eagles and Cowboys under 47.5, and Jacksonville minus 2.5 at Arizona.
I predict you're going to go 2-2 this week.
Oh,
It's
that's yeah.
just a
Okay.
prediction. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I
you
just
kind of feel like you're just playing the odds there, but that's okay.
well, I mean, I think that the Chiefs are going to win.
Okay.
It's Mahomes. It's Kansas City. The refs always give them the calls at Kansas City. It's you know it's Andy Reid and Mahomes magic. This is do or die for them. They have to
Yep.
win this game. So I would go against that one, and then I'm not so sure on the under on the Cowboys Eagles. I think that
Really?
the only chance we have to win is if we go over. So that's my take. That's Jeff's thoughts on Nick's picks. So all right, Nick's picks. There you have it for episode 8. Nick's picks. No wagering, please, for entertainment purposes only. But if you do wager, you'd be rich like Nick. So, hey, just a couple questions here, Nick. Will Kansas City make the playoffs? The Chiefs, are they going to make
No.
the playoffs?
No.
You say no. Okay. You think it's too far gone?
Yeah, it's too far gone. I just don't see how they catch up.
Do you have their
I mean,
schedule for the rest of the way?
yep, I've got it right here. The Chiefs have obviously they have the Colts coming up in Kansas City. They're at Dallas. They're home to Houston. Then home against the Chiefs.
What? They
Then
are the
they're
Chiefs.
home against the Chargers.
Okay.
Home against the Chargers, and then
Are
they're
you
at.
drunk? What are you drinking over there,
No,
Nick?
no, take it easy, man.
What are you
They're
drinking?
they're home against the Chargers. They're at Tennessee. Home to the Broncos. At the Raiders.
All of those games are winnable for the Chiefs.
Well, of course, but
They can win out.
they're basically, other than the Titans and Raiders, they can lose the other ones also.
I think the Chiefs will be the 7th seed. I mean, if they win this week, they could lose to the Cowboys and then win every game else. Every game they have, you just said it's the Raiders, Chargers, it's the Titans. None of those teams are going to beat the Chiefs. What
Yeah, I
other
think
game
the
do you think they're
problem.
going to lose after Cowboys and Colts? What other game do you think that they might lose?
I don't like them. I don't like them to beat the Broncos.
Oh,
Um,
dude,
I don't think they get the Broncos.
in
And
Kansas City?
then I mean, yeah, but I still think there's just, I don't know. It's also a Christmas Day game, man. What a huge second to last
The,
game of the season on Christmas in prime time.
Wait a minute. The Chiefs will win their last 5 games, and that gives them 10 wins. And they'll probably split Cowboys Colts. That gives them 6 wins. 11 wins. Let's just say they go let's just say they lose to the Colts and they lose to the Broncos. That's 7 losses and 10 wins. They don't make it?
I mean, they're gonna have to get in at the 7th seed because 6 teams in front of them only need to win 3 to get to 10 wins. There
I
are
know,
6
but
teams.
well, the Jaguars need 4. 4
not counting
wins.
the Jaguars. I'm not counting the Jaguars.
Well, they're in the 7th seed right now, the Jaguars.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, if
And the Texans are tied with the Chiefs. So they only have to jump 2 teams. It's the Jaguars and Texans or Chargers. Any 2 of those 3 teams they can jump and get in the playoffs. Dude, they're making the playoffs. The Chiefs are making the playoffs. And if they get in, look out.
That's the thing. That's why I was hesitant with the Broncos.
Yeah, and we can't put them as the best team in the AFC, but I'm telling you this, Nick, write it down. They're only losing 2 more tops and maybe 1 more. And they will win their last 5 straight if they beat the Broncos. So they get the
I don't
10
know.
wins, they're in.
Here's the
And
problem. Okay,
and the Jaguars, Texans are out, Chiefs are in.
here's the problem. I was almost getting with you because I was looking at these other team schedules. The Jaguars have the Cardinals, the Titans, the Jets, the Titans, the Colts twice.
They're going to lose both of those.
Yeah, but they're going to win the other 5. That's 11.
That's true. It's possible, but the Jaguars are goofy enough to get beat by one of those teams. The Chiefs backs against the wall. So I'm going to say the Chiefs make the 7th seed and look out playoffs because you don't want that to happen. You don't want that to happen. You say they're not going to make it. I say they will make it. You say the Cowboys are going to make it. I say the Cowboys will not make it. So yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I was starting to get with you up until I looked at the schedule.
Well, did you look at the Chargers schedule?
Yeah. I don't like it for the Chargers, especially with the way they look. Now they are getting Hampton back, so hopefully that'll help. But here's the other outsider. I'm curious. I'm going to go look real quick at the bet. Here's another team that I'm looking at their schedule. This
Ravens?
is the schedule. That's right. Jets, Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Packers, Steelers. There's 5 wins in there for them, and they could sneak a 6th one in, and that would put them at 11.
Man, they certainly could. I just don't. Those last 3 games, 2 of those last 3 games would be tough, but they could do it.
Steelers, Packers, Patriots.
Yeah, Packers and Patriots. That'll be tough to end the season, but I don't know. I think if both the Chiefs and the Ravens get in, we would trust them more over the Jaguars and Chargers.
Sure, 100%. There's no question.
Anyway, I was just curious where you stood on Kansas City because it's been kind of the buzz. It's like everybody keeps favoring Kansas City, and Kansas City's supposed to start taking off, but they haven't yet. But I think they will. I think they'll win their last 5 games, at least, and then probably get another win. And finish 6-1 in the last 7, and get in.
The odds makers agree with you, man. I'm shocked at a 5-5 team at this point in the season. Kansas City is -200 to make the playoffs. You get better odds at them not making the playoffs as a 5-5 team. Awesome. Absolutely insane.
All right, so let's transition a bit from the NFL, and let's talk a little bit about the NBA. Listen, it pains me what's going on with the Mavericks, but the Mavericks finally fired Nico Harrison. We did not get that news before our last podcast, but we got it now, and I think that will go down as one of the dumbest trades in the history of the NBA for Nico. Although you could make an argument for the situation, like we said, for trading Luka, you just did not get enough back. And when you started going through last week all the dumb Spurs trades, and they got all those picks for Murray and whoever it was,
Derek White.
It's like, dude, those guys aren't better than Luka, but they got a bigger haul because nobody thought Anthony Davis would return to his form. Everyone thought, okay, he's injury prone. So now with Nico Harrison gone, we talked a little bit about should the Mavs trade for a point guard last week.
Yep.
And I said, let me do some homework. I did come up with some names of point guards that I thought were interesting. And one of them is really interesting because we actually drafted him. And it's Trae Young. He'll be a free agent next year as a player option. But possible point guard targets. Now, this is a wish list, I know. I'm not saying these guys are available and the teams want to trade these guys, but with who we have available now, maybe we could make it happen. So I'm thinking, Trae Young, I know he's injured, but maybe we
Mm-hmm.
could get him on the cheap, not have to give up as much. I'm also looking at Kobe White, another injured guard, Van Vliet in Houston, Colin Sexton, and Jose Alvarado. Those are kind of the 5 names I zoomed in on, honed in
Mm-hmm.
on. We did talk about Gillespie last week, and he's played actually great since last week. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's from the Suns. So I think that that's 5 guys that aren't too old. Now, you could throw in some old guys like James Harden. He'll be a free agent after this year. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that makes sense here in Dallas if we're going to go youth and going to go young.
Right.
Um, Maestro threw out Chris Paul, who is probably on the AD kind of tip, who is old and injured a lot. So
Yep.
I think out of these 5 guys, do you like any of these 5 guys for the Mavericks? And what do you think we'd have to give up with to land one of these 5? Obviously, if they're a free agent, we don't
So
have
if
to give
I'm
up anything. But
right, if I'm putting my GM hat on, I think the first thing I would look at is which of these guys can I get without having to give up a bunch. Um,
mm-hmm.
I think if I'm gonna trade a Anthony Davis or a Kyrie Irving, I would like for that to be for a long term sit, not a point guard gap. So
Right,
I
for
like Jose
sure.
Alvarado. I like Alvarado's game for how it seems like Cooper Flag wants to play. Um, and then I like Kobe White. The Spurs just played the Bulls not too long ago. Kobe White's game, seemed
He's coming
pretty
off injury.
solid.
He's coming off
He's
injury.
coming
Yeah.
coming off injury. He was supposed to be on a minute restriction, and the game got really close. They had been talking about it. I was watching the Bulls broadcast. The only one available to me, so they kept talking about him, how they were happy to have him back, and he was supposed to be on a minute restriction. And then the game got really tight, and they blew past the minute restriction because he was just the guy consistently making plays. Now this is his last year of his contract, 12.8 million. So it's a little bit of a loan, although we've seen this plenty of times where I'm sure he'd be happy to be in Dallas to play with Cooper and some of the younger team, um, assuming they go that direction. So I like Kobe White a lot. I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't like Trae Young. I don't like Sexton. I don't think Van Vliet long term, just because of the
No.
injury. And the reason why I don't like Trae Young, I think he could potentially be a really good fit. Man, you got to give up so much to get him. And I think if you're
Do
Dallas,
you? Because the Hawks have played better without Trae Young. It's kind of like the question would be, what would you have to give up? Now, I'm not honestly, I would not trade Kyrie or anybody like that for these guys, but maybe an AD, a Najee Marshall. I don't know because the problem is right now, Anthony Davis has the lowest trade value he's ever had. Other than
hmm
Nico Harrison, I don't know that anybody would have traded what they traded for Anthony Davis, right? And
yeah,
and that's sad because just 1 year ago you gave up Luca for him, and now you're gonna have to trade him for pennies on the dollar to get anything back. It's kind of unfair to Anthony Davis. I get it, but um, I don't know what kind of. I think what I'm looking for is probably a PJ or a Najee Marshall with some other young talent. I don't know when Dante Exum comes back, but he can handle the ball for us. But I don't know if you're talking about one of these guys, you're obviously going to have to give up something. But we're trying to get draft picks back, and I don't know the draft pick status of these teams. I should have looked at that. But I just went out and identified five younger or at least available point guards. I think Jose Alvarado and Kobe White are my 2 favorites on this list as well. Um,
hmm
but I think that the Bulls look good, so I don't know that they would be willing to do that right now. Probably not. And before the
right,
comments go, hey idiots, no one's trading the Mavericks. This is a dream scenario. This is what point guards are available. What point
right,
guards are out there for us to even think about? Um, And we understand the situation. We're not doofuses. We're not idiots. We're not morons. We get it. This is more fantasy trades than anything. But at the same time, the Mavericks have to pick a direction. If you're going to
Yeah.
build around Cooper Flag, then blow the whole thing up. Clay, what could Clay net you with? Like, if you take Najee and Clay and D'Lo, could you get something for that? Maybe. But the problem is every Maverick right now has their lowest trade value, except for maybe PJ Washington and Najee Marshall. Maybe they have higher trade value. Anthony Davis's trade value is low. Somebody might who's not winning, right, may give up something to just sell tickets, maybe. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, but the Hornets aren't that dumb to trade. They're not going to trade LaMelo for anything we got. But I would love it if they did. But I think we're just in a real tough spot, Nick, as Mavericks fans, because the people we have will not net a lot in return, except for Kyrie, who's coming off injury.
Right.
So I'm just concerned about all these people saying blow it up. Well, we have to have trade partners that will give us what we want, and we have to first hone in what do we want. Do we want any players? Do we only want picks? What is the situation? Do we want only expiring contracts? Maybe we can get one of these guys and then see if they sign long term here to play with Cooper Flag. But it's pie in the sky. I know it. But that was the 5 guys that I zeroed in on. I just don't think the trade value for the Mavericks is very good for any of those guys, other than maybe PJ, Najee. Clay may have some value for a winner, but they're not going to give up much for Clay. So if you ask me a different question, let me ask you this, Nick. Who would you keep on the Mavericks?
Cooper Flag, no question.
Yeah,
He's untouchable.
yeah,
I like PJ Washington. I think PJ has looked really, really good. I think
yeah,
for me, he fits in very nicely for what Cooper does well. And then, just to be able to kind of run and gun with him. And then either Gafford or
Lively.
Likely.
Yeah,
Lively, sorry.
Lively. Yeah,
Lively, yeah. I not both either. Now I think Lively has had the injury issues, so
and
I know
Gafford
Gafford
has
hasn't
too.
exactly been. I was gonna say I know Gafford hasn't been exactly a model of health, but I would say one of the two, whichever one you know prioritize more. Lively's a little bit younger, probably be a little bit cheaper. Outside of those three, literally everybody else is available if I'm the Mavericks. And here's the bigger reason why for me. I'm looking this up as you're talking. The Mavericks own their own 2026 first round pick. They
And
do
then
not have a
nothing
27
after.
first.
Or 28.
Yeah, they do not own the 20. Well, 28 OKC gets to swap. So Dallas will have the worst of probably a lottery pick or a mid-tier pick. OKC's picking at the bottom of the draft. So
Yeah.
that's essentially a second round pick. In 29,
Which, yeah.
they have a swap with Houston, and they also have LA's first rounder with no protection. So probably again 2 mid-20 picks. And then in 30, San Antonio has the favorable of the 2 picks between San Antonio and Dallas. So they have
Yeah.
their own first round in 26, and then essentially they're picking in the 20s for the rest of the decade.
Yeah. And
I
you
like
say, go ahead.
I like trading Kyrie, trading AD, trading all these pieces Clay, especially to a contender at the trade deadline. You can probably get a first rounder in a couple years from somebody for Clay. I like stockpiling the draft picks and trying to rebuild back up some resources if you're Dallas.
Well, I think Gafford may bring you something, right? You could get something for Gafford or Lively. And I think here's the thing: PJ or Najee, I would keep PJ, trade Najee. No disrespect to Najee, I just like PJ better. So I think I'm with you. I think Cooper Flag, stays. Obviously, you have PJ. I'll keep Lively just because he's younger, and trade Gafford. I like Max Christie. I don't know that you mentioned him, but
Nope.
I would keep him. Trade Clay. And anybody else is fair game, and we're in this situation, right? Because we've I want to go through. Everyone hammers Nico for the Luca trade, but what about all the other dumb things he's done? He didn't extend Jalen Brunson. We talked about that a little bit. He
Yep.
traded Porzingis for Bertans and Dinwiddie,
Yep.
which it was Porzingis and a second round pick for Bertans and Dinwiddie. Okay,
Right.
then he traded a second round pick and Grimes for Caleb Martin. Now, Quentin
Mm-hmm.
Grimes could help us. He's young. We could use him. And I just can't believe he gave him away for nothing. And then
Yep.
he did some other dumb things that aren't worth noting, but the point I'm trying to make is we're in this situation because not just because of the Luka trade, but because of other things. And for me, I just don't like it. And I know Mark Cuban is, kind of back involved a little bit, and that's great just because he won't do anything stupid. I hope, but I'm concerned we just don't have enough ammunition to go rebuild this team right now, and I don't know what we could get for what we have, and that's the concern is the low trade value. I think Gafford, Najee Marshall, or PJ Washington, Clay, Kyrie are your best chips. Maybe somebody will overpay for AD, but we're going to need them to get back a return. But it's very depressing. I don't think Nick is in any jeopardy of having to grow the welcome back Cotter mustache or the
Nope.
Andy Reid mustache or the any of that. I think I'm going to have to hang the stupid Spurs team picture up in my office because of the bet. I'm not happy about that, but I've kind of conceded at this point. It's the Mavs have played better and they've lost some close games, and I love the Cooper flag is developing. But it's not. I'm not going to win this bet. I'm not going to you know concede yet, but I'm not going to win this bet. Do you have anything you want to say about your Spurs to pile on at this moment? The Mavericks
No.
are in a very bad situation. What do you want to say about your Spurs?
No. Actually, what I'll say is the thing that you had talked about with the Mavericks in terms of kind of the health issue is kind of coming to fruition for the Spurs a little bit. We just found out Wemby's going to be out for up to a few weeks with a calf strain.
I called that.
Um, we've got Steph Castle is going to be out for a week or two. Dylan Harper's still out with a calf strain. Um, so we got hit with a little bit of the injury bug also. Um, what I will say is
You
they
sure it's
looked.
not load management, Nick? You sure there's not?
I was Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know how much of this is legitimate and how much of it is them being really, really cautious. They've got a little bit of a lull in their schedule. They do play the NBA Cup games coming up, so that kind of sucks that we won't be healthy for that. But um, the injury thing sucks. I will say this is a very, very deep team. Everything that you're talking about with the Mavericks, kind of the opposite with the Spurs, right? I said before the season started, you've got a lot of guards. You got a lot of guards that do not similar things, but they're very interchangeable. That depth is really, really helping at the moment. They don't
Yeah.
look like they're dying for Wemby to come back. De'Aaron Fox can certainly shoulder the load by himself in this absence. Harrison Barnes, man, talk about just a great veteran presence. The dude looks awesome all the time. Sean Elliott on the broadcast likes to call him 100%. Because just everything he does is right. Doesn't seem like he ever misses big shots. So little sucks with a little bit of the injury bug, but having a great season, off to a great start, and it looks like all the depth that everyone was kind of concerned about of like how do you have this many guards in rotation and blah 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 is actually just helping them a lot during this stretch.
Well, that's enough Spurs talk for the day. I'll say this about where we're at. I mean, the Mavs have 4 wins, and they probably had 3 games they should have won. So technically,
Sure.
it could be a lot closer. So if they find ways to win games, you don't know what's going to happen over the next 10-game stretch, but I imagine they start making deals sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you believe
But
Dirk Nowitzki should have a front office job for the Mavericks? Do you think that Dirk, he had this brilliant take on Prime about the Mavericks and how unfortunate it is, but sort of kind of shared his heart there. Do you think they're going to give him a front office job? And if not, do you think they should?
I think if he really wants one, that Cuban, if Cuban really does have pull, that he would absolutely have it. Should they? It's so hard to say, right? I mean, I think you would love to say a player like Dirk that, you know, would be able to go in and make a immediate difference. I just don't know. I would say if I'm a Spurs fan, yes, I would want Dirk in the Mavericks front office. So I think just the not knowing,
What do you
right?
mean? Are you
Not
saying that he's going to be awful at it?
I don't know that he would be awful, but I think one of the other names that I had heard brought out was Bob Meyer, and
Oh yeah.
as a Spurs fan, I would be petrified of that. So like, I think when you get into that, like as you're a fan base of another team, a rival team, like how do they feel about this hire? Bob Meyer is obviously like, whoa, that's scary. Dirk Nowitzki, it's more like, okay, I'm not so worried about that. Maybe he'll do a great job, maybe he won't. So I don't know, man. I
Well,
think
let me clarify. Let me
yeah.
clarify. I would not put Dirk as the GM. I want him involved, but like Finley was. But I would say Bob Meyer would be fantastic, and have Dirk working under Bob Meyer would be awesome. I would
Hmm.
take that in a minute. I would not put Dirk as the GM, but I do
Okay.
want him involved. It looked like, he had a role, and then this whole Luca thing, and then they started distancing from him and Dirk. Luca's gone. Now they're distancing from Dirk, but I would not put him in as the general manager, but I do want him involved in the front office and maybe one day being the general manager.
Yeah, and if he spent some time under Bob Meyer, then absolutely, right? Like give him a few years to just learn, and then for sure. So if you're saying just in some front office position, absolutely. I also think
Like
there's some
assistant
other guy.
GM.
Right, right. I think there's a couple of
Yeah.
other guys out there like
Yeah.
former players, former Cuban guys, even former front office executives that were with the Mavs that went away that could definitely come back. But yeah, I think Bob Meyer with Dirk and maybe Finley or just some combination. I even read recently where Jason Kidd was potentially looking at wanting to get into the front office, kind of a Brad Stevens type thing, get out of coaching and get into the front office.
Oh, I did. I think I did read that, and they were bringing what's his name to be coach. Um, I can't remember.
Was it
Um,
Leslie something like that?
no, no, no. It was a more prominent name that they
Mm.
said, hey, maybe the basketball mind of Jason Kidd should be. But the truth is, we don't know. Was Jason Kidd for this trade? Was he? Was he not? That's sort of the mystery, right? Because he was always on Luca. He wanted Luca to play faster. He was upset about Luca not being in shape as well. I don't think he was on board with the trade, but we never. It's fine. It's kind of funny that he's never really said. He said he didn't know about the trade,
Hmm.
but it's not like he threw up a big fuss when they made the trade. And I get it. They're your employer, so why would you? But I guess I really don't know if the truth is he was for it or adamantly against it. But Kidd as a coach, there's been some questionable things, but overall, I like Jason Kidd. Maybe he would be better in the front office. But with that being said, let's transition into the NBA power rankings. Who do you think are the five best teams in the NBA currently?
Well, I think OKC number one, kind of without a question. I like Denver at number two. I think they've looked really, really good. Nothing to not like about Denver. The surprise has been the Pistons. Detroit,
Oh, for
I
sure.
think
Yeah.
11-3, 12-2, something like that. Um, Cade is, man, just amazing. I think they're on like an 8 or 9 game winning streak. So Detroit has looked amazing. So I would go Oklahoma City, Denver, Detroit, probably uh, Cleveland and Houston in some maybe give me Houston and then Cleveland. So let's go OKC, Denver, Detroit, Houston, Cleveland. My top 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of agree with you here. Unfortunately, I don't like to agree with you. So, but I have to. Oklahoma City, Denver, definitely 1 and 2.
Yep.
Now 3, 4, 5, you get a little. It gets a little hairy.
Sure.
Detroit, people have Detroit at 3, or they have them at 5. I think you could put them there. If you had to take Detroit or Cleveland right now, would you take Detroit?
Right this second, I would go Detroit. Yes.
Okay, so you could put Detroit at 3. I'm not sure I'm sold on Cleveland. I like the Knicks and the Rockets. But other than that, then you're talking about Lakers, Spurs,
Yeah.
Timberwolves, and that group, and the Bucks. So I think I got OKC, Denver. Then I probably would go. Yeah, I would say maybe Cleveland and Detroit are right there,
Yeah.
and then the Knicks. That'll be my top 5.
Okay.
I think that unfortunately, we talked about the West being good, but
Mm-hmm.
there's 2 in the top 5, and then the other 3 are from the East. But you got the Lakers right there, the Rockets right there, the Spurs right there. Those would probably be my next 3,
Yep.
and then maybe Milwaukee and Chicago and Philly following there. So, and Golden State is lurking right now. They're just lurking. So we'll see in the next 10, 15 games what they're going to be. Luke, who's your favorite NBA team? Do you have one?
Who's my favorite one?
Yeah, who do you? No, well, not your favorite one, but who do you think's the best?
I mean, OKC. It has to be OKC's the best.
OKC. What about in the East?
East. I mean, I like Detroit.
Okay, so he's got Oklahoma City and Detroit.
Detroit made a run last year with
Yeah,
2 of their big guys injured. So now that they have
Yeah.
them back, I mean, they look good.
yeah.
Picked up
So
with
so he likes Detroit and Oklahoma City,
Cade Cunningham.
and Cade Cunningham is cooking, is what he says. The maestro says
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham is cooking.
Have y'all seen his logo?
No, I haven't seen his logo.
Star.
That'd be a nice guy to have, wouldn't it? Cade Cunningham.
Cade
All right,
Cunningham.
so
Yeah.
there's our NBA talk, and hopefully we don't have to mention the bet anymore, unless the Mavericks get
Well,
hot.
hey, real quick.
And we get
Let's stay there for a second because I was going to say this. I didn't want to cut you off. Here's.
Okay.
I don't want an answer now. I just want you to think about it. When we talk about bets, we talk about hedging bets. So here's the off ramp for you. Next week, we're gonna let you off the. We're gonna say the bet's over, instead of going for them. But that's it. We're not. If they, somehow the Mavs catch them, no matter what, it's over. The bet's over. You go 2 weeks from Christmas on. So instead of a month, it's 2 weeks. The bet's off right now. It doesn't matter. Whatever happens the rest of the season doesn't matter. You're conceding the bet. Instead of a month, it's 2 weeks.
will you get to the point?
That's the point.
What?
2 weeks.
What? 2 weeks?
You're
What?
gonna instead of putting the picture up for a month, you're only gonna put it up for 2 weeks, but you're gonna do it right now. You're saying it's over. The bet's over.
No, I ain't
Spurs
doing
win.
that.
2
No,
weeks.
well, let's see what. No, I'm not gonna concede like that.
Why not?
I mean, that's kind of weak. Honestly, it seems like you'd be like trying to get me to do more than just not less.
No, I
But
bet with my mind, not my heart.
okay, well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that because I think that what you're hoping is maybe you're a little nervous about the Mavericks making a comeback after all these trades and stuff, and your Spurs and the alien
Injuries.
Area 51, the injuries are
Yeah.
already hitting them, and my
Yeah.
prognostication about the alien is coming true. How much time until the Atlas 3I comes and takes him home? So I think you're worried, and I'm not doing that. So I'm not
Okay.
conceding,
Okay.
but it's looking bleak and dark, but I'm not conceding. So we're not going to do that.
All right.
All right. So, well, actually, you know what? I have one more thing. We mentioned load management earlier,
Yeah.
and the NBA tried to make rules about, well, you have to play this many games to be considered for awards.
Mhm.
I don't see that it's changed the culture or behavior in the NBA because it's like, well, we're still going to do this regardless.
Mhm.
It seems like load management is still a problem. What do you think?
Yeah, I think definitely it's still occurring. I don't know that it's gone away. I don't think it's going to go away. I understand what they were trying to do with the awards. I think unfortunately what's happened more frequently than not is guys that played, 50, 60 games that then had legitimate season-ending injuries are just punished for awards that they probably should have or could have won. Um, I just don't think it's going away. I think there's two things that I would like to see potentially. Um, a shorter season instead of playing 82, maybe get it down to 60, 65, 55, somewhere in that range. And then the second thing I would like to see, and I don't know if this really affects load management as much, but I would like to see them seed the teams, still have the division winners get an automatic berth, but then after that, just give me the best 16 teams in the league. Don't give me 8 and 8. Like
Oh,
like you
conference
know,
doesn't matter.
conference doesn't matter. Let's do irrespective of conference. Let's just
Mm.
go. The six division winners automatically get in, and the records will likely support that anyway. But then after that, just give me 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, so on and so forth, and let's play the playoffs out that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I think that I don't. I think load management's still a problem. I think that we talked about in a game already this year. The Lakers didn't have LeBron, Luca, or Austin Reeves playing, whether it's injury or load management. That's just it's just a shame for the fans. If the stars of the '80s and '90s would never do that. And that's one of the most incredible things about Michael Jordan's stats. If you look at how many times he played 82 games or 75 or more in a season, it's his whole career except for when he was injured. No, if he
Mhm.
was breathing, he was playing. And I think that work ethic and that thing is gone. And here's what I will say, because all this training these guys do all year round has led to more injuries. It's not like they're building their
Mhm.
bodies up and now it's too much wear and tear on the body. They're not giving their bodies enough time to recover, and we're seeing an unbelievable amount of Achilles tears, calf strains that lead to Achilles tears. All this stuff that's happening in the NBA, we wouldn't need load management if they took proper time off in the off season and were able to listen to their bodies. I think it's funny as we look at football is football used to not be a year-round sport. It was like we're taking off and recovering. Now you got all these weight training, these fancy workouts, all these guys are doing, and they think it's helping them, but is it really hurting them in the long run? Is it overuse injuries? Is it? I just can't believe the amount of serious injuries we've seen rise in football and basketball.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. It just this could be just prisoner of the moment, but it didn't feel like that in the certainly in the 90s. I mean, that's I can speak to the 90s. I can't speak to the 70s and 80s, but I'll leave that for you.
Is that a
Um,
shot?
but no, man, I'm just I think it's a matter of fact. But I think there's got to be a correlation to the amount of serious season-ending injuries, Achilles injuries, ACLs, to one load management, and then on just constant year-round stuff going on. So I don't like it. I just look quickly last year, not a single guy that made the all-star team played 82 games, um,
Oh, that doesn't
which isn't.
happen anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
What's the
insane, right?
most
As
games a person played?
Giannis played 76, and
76
that's
games. I'm sorry,
yeah.
there's 6 games. So listen, they will say because all these injuries are happening is the reason we need load management. I
Hmm.
think it's the training in the off season. I think it's the overuse. I think, Kevin, I almost said Kevin Garnett, but it's Kevin Durant. Um, he's just a hooper. He just wants to hoop all the time, right? He doesn't do a lot of weightlifting and training, but I think that's bad for the body. I think what I would say is these injuries are led to overuse. or this overuse has led to the injuries. I don't think load management matters at all when it comes to preventing injuries. So I think it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing for the NBA. It's not a good thing for the fans, and it doesn't appear to be a great thing for the NBA players because it's, we're just taking the night off for rest. And
Right.
and like you said, it wouldn't have happened. It didn't happen back in the '90s, and most people think it was much more physical back in the '90s. So how did they endure all that and still play 80 games?
Yeah,
So
man.
anyway, I just wanted to get your take on that really, really quickly. All right, coming up next is what's killing Jeff? That's me, dead Jeff. All right, Maestro. Thank you for playing the song. Honestly, being a Cowboy fan is hard, right? Because you don't want to get too much excitement. But the thing that's killing me is the overreacting Cowboy fan. The one good thing goes right, and we're going to the Super Bowl, right? One thing goes wrong, oh, we suck and we'll never win again, right? It's just these highs and lows that, and the Cowboy fans that are delusional, like, Nick earlier said he would put the Cowboys in the playoffs. Now, you can say that's delusional, but there's a 7% chance it could happen, so you're saying there's a chance. And then that's one thing to say that, but then to go on these rants to talk it up, each week we hear Skip Bayless switching back and forth like it's, like he's Mr. Rogers switching shoes. It's, to me, it's you can't get too high and low with this Cowboy team anymore. You have to understand that with the Cowboys, it's going to be a roller coaster. Some seasons we're good enough to ride that roller coaster into the playoffs and lose the first game. And some seasons we don't make the playoffs. So I think realism, we talked about apathy before on this podcast. You don't want apathy and you don't want pie in the sky, clouding your vision type thing. We got to be realist here. And the overreacting Cowboy fans are killing me. Like anytime we post a clip or a reel, you people would comment delusional Cowboy fan. I don't think I'm a delusional Cowboy fan. I have homer tendencies. I'm not one of these overreacting Cowboy fans. To me though, if you post something positive about the Cowboys, all the haters for the Cowboys say, "Oh, delusional Cowboys think they're this and that, and blah blah blah." Then you post something negative about the Cowboys. Oh, you're already jumping off the bandwagon. Wait till we win the next 4 in a row, which doesn't happen, right? So can we be realist and still Cowboy fans?
No, probably not. That's probably not on the cards.
So you're saying I have to be the over, ambitious, not ambitious, the over enthusiastic, everything's awesome, like the Lego movie? Or I have to be the Cowboys suck and will never see light of day again? There's no middle ground.
I don't think so.
Well, I think there is. And I think just like in politics, when everything's extreme left or everything's extreme right, there's room in the middle for everybody to come together and be realist and go, the
Release the
Cowboys.
files.
What's that?
Everyone get together and say release the files.
Oh, gosh. Let's not start that.
That's
okay?
not where you were going? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. That's where I thought you were going.
Are you talking about JFK files?
Sure.
They've been released.
Absolutely.
It was a conspiracy. You talking about Epstein?
I didn't say that word.
The guy was a pervert. We know that. And there's a lot of people, they're not going to release those files because there's people on both sides that are going to be implicated. So
the House and Senate, man, we're one step away.
I'm not talking politics because that's another pet peeve of mine. We can't talk politics without hating each other. But the over-enthusiastic Cowboy fan and the Eeyore Cowboy fan are what's killing Jeff this week. Can't we just be in the middle and understand that this season has ebbs and flows, and usually it doesn't flow well for the Cowboys when it comes playoff time? But we
Yeah.
can be realistic. We can be grateful and hopeful for the good things that we have. The Pickens trade, right? The Quinnen Williams trade, the Micah trade. There's a lot of people now saying, "Oh, Jerry and the Cowboys won the Micah trade." Those same
Mm-hmm.
people were slamming him earlier this year. So if I know overreaction sales. That there's people that say our podcast is a little boring because we're not screaming and yelling at each other and debating big time. But we just want to talk sports. We want to talk about the things we love. We want to talk about the things in the correct frame, not overreact, not underreact. It's like Goldilocks, just right. It's not because we're afraid of being wrong. It's not because we're afraid that people won't like us. It's because that's who we are. We believe in the things that we say. We're not hyping up things just to argue. We're not doing Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless back in the day, where Skip Bayless would make up things, take a side just to get entertainment value. That's not that. Maybe that's what's killing me too, is the fact that we can't be genuine. People say you can't be genuine and be entertaining. I don't believe that. So that's really what's killing Jeff. What do you think about that, Nick? Do you think that I'm overreacting as a Cowboy fan?
Man, what a great Alanis Morissette drop right there for us, Maestro. Yeah, it's pretty ironic because your overreaction to the antithesis of overreaction is quite overreacting, man. Yeah. No, I think it is a little bit of an overreaction in general. The problem though is that group is just so much louder. Is it really happening more, or is that group just so much louder than the people that are level-headed, that can have a legitimate conversation and say, look, they look good against a bad team, they've got a tough test coming up, and if they go get smoked by Philly, just say, hey, look, that's a really good team, Dallas is a mediocre team, and this is what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's
So
realism. That's
right,
keeping it real. That's not
right,
getting too hype or too down.
yeah,
That's what I feel like I am, right? Now I
right,
like
and
to say
I'm just saying that group is, although there may be more of them, is just not as loud. So maybe that's the key, or maybe the mediocre or the middle of the road people just need to be more demonstrative in their in their realistic approaches.
the mediocre people need to be more we're not mediocre people, Nick. We're realists that go, you know what? We've given our hearts to the Cowboys and had it broken so many times, so we're
Mm,
afraid. We're afraid to be all in because we've been down that road and it doesn't lead to anything for the last 30 years. It's been heartbreak, heartbreak, heartbreak. Little bit of hope, heartbreak, little bit of hope, heartbreak. It's what Cowboy fans do. Do you think the Cowboys, we know the Cowboys have the most haters of any team, right?
uh-huh.
Do you think we have the best or worst fan base ever?
I mean, the ones that immediately come to my mind for American sports, because I think if we bring in football, if we bring in soccer, then it's a totally separate conversation. But traditional American sports, I would say the Yankees immediately come to my mind. The
As the what?
Patriots as the best fan bases, right? The
Okay.
most, just the thing that I feel
Live
like,
and die with the team, right? They
right,
just bleed the team.
right. Like there is no, when they're bad, it's okay. It's gonna be, we'll be better. I just, and we're in Texas, so I don't have a ton of exposure to Yankee fans, but I do know some, and they always seem to just be hyper supportive of the Yankees no matter what's going on. Um,
So
and
you
then the
would say the
Patriot,
Yankees have the best fan base. The Yankees and Patriots have the best fan base of any sports
and
team?
yeah, and I'm basing that purely on the actual fans that I know of those teams. I very, very rarely ever hear anything negative, even when things aren't going well.
Yeah.
I definitely can't say that about the Cowboys when it's going bad.
Yeah.
Man, the ardent Cowboys fans, people that I know have loved the Cowboys forever, will destroy the Cowboys in a second.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with Jerry Jones, or as I like to call him, the new Uncle Rico, right? I think that has a lot to do with that because Jerry not letting somebody come in and make football decisions makes that possible. So look, I think the Cowboys have a great fan base. I think people grew up loving the Cowboys are getting a little bit disenchanted. People like my son who've never seen them win is no longer a Cowboy fan. So that hurts my heart deeply. But what I will never be is an apologist for the Cowboys. We're going to call them out when they do something stupid, and we're going to praise them for doing something well. And it's going to be a little of both because no team is perfect. Although it seems like the Eagles are making everybody's think they're perfect with all these moves they make, and then they get hot at the right time. But and are the Chiefs the new America's team? Maybe that's coming to an end. But I will live and die with my Cowboys. But I gotta keep it real. And you guys that overreact to everything, we gotta just take a little chill. Just chill out, okay? If you really thought the Cowboys were going to the playoffs at the beginning of the season, then you got to study football a little more, right? And I like I said, I have homer tendencies for Cowboys. But anyway, that's what's killing Jeff for this week. The over-enthusiastic and the real Debbie Downer Cowboy fans. Let's just all meet in the middle and let's be hopeful for good things to come, but not just hammer the team senseless when they're down. So that's what's killing Jeff for episode 8. Maestro. Okay, what a great episode, Nick. I feel like we talked about a lot of things, and something that we're going to do, really soon, is talk about wrestling.
Oh
We're going to
yeah.
have a special edition WWE episode, and we've talked about this in our intro episode. If you go back and listen to episode 1, things that we were a fan of, right? And I think next week we're gonna mix in college football. People have asked us to talk college football. Now, I don't have an allegiance to a college football team other than Indiana. I'm from Indiana, moved to Texas when I was 5. My parents got divorced when I was 3. My mom moved here with my stepfather when I was 5. But I've always been an Indiana basketball fan. But now Indiana football is relevant. So it's I've never really I've always kind of defaulted to UT, and I kind of defaulted to the University of Alabama because my best friend growing up, shout out to Scott Thrasher and the Thrasher family, they all went to Alabama. They're big Bama fans all the way, in the 80s and 90s. But to me, we're gonna talk some college football, and I'm excited about that. Especially because Indiana football is relevant again. Who's your college football team, Nick?
The Oregon Ducks, based purely on the uniforms.
You sound silly when you say that. You picked Oregon just for the uniforms?
Yeah, when I was this is a deep cut. Those that know will know. The old college football games before they brought it back, talking NCAA
Mhm.
12, 13, 14. I think 14 was the last year that they made it, and then they took like 11 years off. I used to love, picking the Oregon Ducks just because they had the most color combinations, all the different uniforms. So
Yeah.
I wish there was a better answer than that. There's not. Now I will say it's nice that they've been relevant, that they've been good. They've had some great players come out of Oregon. I know you're a Bo Nix fan.
Yeah.
You know,
I like Bo. Yeah.
yeah,
I believe in Bo. Yeah.
yeah. So
Well,
yeah.
I'm excited to get into some college football. You're like, "Hey, what's took so long? Why haven't you talked about college football?" Well, because there's a lot of Cowboy stuff to talk about.
Hmm.
And that's our first love. So, all right, thank you for being a part of this episode and listening to us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please interact with us. If you're on TikTok, you can interact with the Maestro and Nick. I still don't have a TikTok, but if you're on Instagram, I can interact with you, or on YouTube, we can interact. But thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Peace, and see you next time.